walking every corner of the city till I'm wheezing like a bus stop, running up the stairs, gonna meet you on the rooftop.
Summer is finally here, and dermatologists cannot stress enough the importance of using sunscreen and how much it is required to properly protect your skin from the sun. Joining us in the studio today is Adam Mamelak, a dermatologist who practices at St. David's North Austin Medical Center. Adam, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Great. Well, the very first question I want to ask is, when should people wear sunscreen? Very basic, but I think it's important.
So this might come as a surprise to some people, but the answer is all the time. All year round, every single day. The fact of the matter is we are getting UV exposure and UV rays all the time, and especially here in Central Texas, I mean, you just cannot escape the sun. So it's very important. I tell my patients to apply sunscreen on a daily basis. Make it part of their morning routine before they leave the house, and especially if they're planning on being outside, that's really when you have to reapply and be conscious about your skin and know that you have to reapply throughout the day.
Even if you know you're only going to be outside for about 10 minutes, I would assume, I mean, that's on your way to work, on your way home from work, things like that? Or,
well, I want to
know how important is sunscreen?
I'll tell you, Scarlett, the last time I went outside for 10 minutes, I was stuck on Mopac for an hour and a half. So there's a lot of things that we really don't anticipate. We get stuck in traffic, running in and out of the store to grab something, and believe it or not, this does add up. And throughout the course of the day, the amount of UV exposure we get is pretty significant. Just stepping out for lunch to grab something across the street or by your office, you're getting exposure. And this is cumulative damage that happens over time, and the best strategy that we have is to prevent the damage, and sunscreen is one of the best ways to do that.
So make it part of your daily routine. So what SPF number do you suggest using? I know a lot of people say don't use under 30 because it really doesn't do anything. Is that true?
It still is helpful, but to get the best protection, I usually recommend people get an SPF 30. The more important thing is that the sunscreen label says broad spectrum. That means UVA and UVB coverage. The SPF number only gives you half of the protection. That number really measures UVB exposure. But nowadays, ultraviolet rays encompass both UVA and UVB, and both of them do damage to the skin. So looking for that broad spectrum on the package is the most important thing.
Do you have any brands you recommend?
I mean, that's interesting because actually Consumer Reports just came out with their top sunscreens for 2014. They do it every year, and they review sunscreens of all different prices, of all different kinds. The fact of the matter is you don't have to spend a lot of money to get good protection. Brands that you'll find at Walmart, at Target, these give you good protection. I brought some sunscreen examples here. Bullfrog, Neutrogena has some great products. Elta MD has some great products. Coppertone has some great products. It's not so much the product itself. What I tell my patients is find something you like to use. Nowadays we have sprays, we have lotions, we have creams, sticks. Depending on your lifestyle, depending on what you're looking for, if you put it on, I'm happy. Just find one that you like.
Okay, the very last question I want to ask you, and this is just because I personally have this type of experience, is I don't get sunburned very often, regardless of how much sun exposure I get.
Sure.
So is that something that I should consider when I'm looking for my sunscreen? Because I don't wear it that often.
Sure.
So does it matter if you don't get sunburned?
There are some people that sunburn more easily than others. And definitely if you're a lighter complexion, if you're fair, redhead, blonde, and blue-eyed, these are the people that have the highest risk of getting sun damage and sunburns. Getting a sunburn increases your chance of getting skin cancer. And the studies have shown that if you get sunburns, especially when you're a kid, you can sometimes even double the chance of getting skin cancer later in life. They have done studies to show that even people with darker complexions, African Americans, East Indian people, even people from the Middle East, are still at risk of getting UV damage. So we do recommend that everyone wears sunscreen and everyone protects himself.
All right, Adam. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You heard him, folks. Make it a routine to start putting sunscreen on, because you never know when you're going to get that sun exposure, even if it's in the car on your way to work. So, again, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing these products with us.
Absolutely. It's great to be here. Thank you.